Alright YouTube, it's Saturday morning, June 8th, and guess what? We're finally back on the Powerstroke. Yeah, I think it's been like a month hiatus, maybe a month and a week, but it's not like we've been screwing around here. There's been a lot of other things coming up. Of course, you seen how I got the Trino running. I fooled with it a little bit. I knew that was going to happen, which I got it running. I was going to get the itch to fool around with it, and I did take it for a drive, and I think I mentioned I was going to take you for a ride with the camera, and we will do that. Maybe this weekend, maybe not, but that's up and coming. I did a little bit more work to it, and we'll talk about that during that other video. Had a lot more lawnmower troubles. With the new engine was good, but it had carburetor issues, which I mentioned, and it started to run really bad, and I ended up having to put the other carburetor on it, and it turned out to be a bad fuel shutoff switch. We'll do a video on that too. It should be a handy little tip for anybody trying to repair their own lawnmowers. But enough about that. Trying to remember where we left off on this thing. Oh yes, we were welding this patch panel in the bed. And as you can see, I have done some welding. I know my welds don't look too great here, but we will be grinding it off. I'm still having some issues with the welder, the old Century 160. I'm not going to give up on it yet. I did learn some things. I noticed that when I started having issues with the wire feed, it's feeding inconsistently. Sometimes you'll have it set to feed perfect, then all of a sudden it will take a spell and start either pushing or not feeding enough. And I found out just the position of the cable plays a big role, which is common sense. You don't want to have it looped really bad or it tied in a knot, which I wasn't trying to do any welding with extreme bends, say like that. Nothing stupid like that, but it didn't take much, just something like this. It did not want to feed. One thing that did help, I had my tension cranked down way too tight, and I think it was dragging the motor down, and any extra push when your cable is turned some affected it. Probably bogging down the motor. You could possibly use a new feed motor. This welder is, let's see, I bought it in 97 or 98. Do the math on that. I'm not going to count the years in my head right now. But yeah, it's old. But I'm not going to give up on it yet. I would like to buy a new Miller. I like those Miller-matics. I've never used one. I just like what I've read about them. But when I already have a MIG welder, if I can get this one working like it used to, I really hate to spend that much money on another MIG welder when I want a TIG welder. So we're going to keep putting up with it, and this is getting the job done for something that's going to be welded on and then ground right back off. Granted, if I got it welding better, it would give me less grinding and make my job easier, but we'll play with it as we go, and try not to spend too awful much money on it, but we'll get it straightened out. Anyway, as you can see, I got most of it welded all the way around, and I think I mentioned in my past videos that when we weld these, we usually, when you got a big area like this, you might do a tack over here, tack over there, back and forth to keep the heat from warping your panel. And then you go back and go in between each weld. You start out about 1 inch apart. That's what I usually do. Then you go in between, which will be a 1/2 inch between each weld, and pretty soon you got so many little tack welds that you start filling in the gaps. And I don't like to, some people we'll just spot weld it together and leave it at that and finish it with body work. I don't like to do that. I like a solid sheet of metal when I'm done. A lot of extra work and time, but I think it's the right way to do it. And also for body work, I don't know if this will cut down on rusting or not, but I use stainless wire. I've just recently started doing that because I do know that if you weld with conventional mild steel wire, the weld itself actually will rust quicker, and the area of the metal you welded will also rust quicker than that area of untreated metal that hasn't been welded. So enough of that. We learn as we go on stuff like that, but what I plan to do today is to finish welding this up, get that ground down, And hopefully by tonight or maybe tomorrow morning we can have this bed flipped over. We'll start installing these inner fender wells so that we can get this all braced up and solid again. As you can see, it's flimsy. That's because it has no braces welded to it. I don't know if we'll get them welded on this weekend. We still got to paint underneath, and we'll probably want that to cure for a few days. So, okay, I'm going to get to work. We'll show you progress as we go, and hopefully I'll get a video uploaded this weekend on this truck. Alright, we've been out here since 9 doing nothing but welding and grinding. And that's pretty much what we have done. That's not all I'm going to do today. I still got a little touching up to do. Let me plug in. I got a light underneath here. I'm going to plug it in. After you weld a big area like that, it's most likely you're going to miss some spots, and there's going to be some holes. And here's a way that I use. If I got my light pointed up right, pointed directly at the welding seam, there's a bright halogen light under there, and you can see it. Hopefully, you can see it shining through. Yeah, through that hole. But it also helps you to find my grinding wheel cut in there. Actually, I was using a thin cutoff wheel, which was kind of working good for the corners there. But yeah, you can see the light shines through spots like that. It kind of helps you see everything. And then if you get it ground down like this, and I also hit it with the flat disc, you just go back with your welder and touch up those holes, fill them in, and then it's just such a small spot that your flat disc will grind it the rest of the way out. But anyway, just want to bring that up. I'm going to be moving that light around, finding all the holes hopefully, and get this finished up. But yep, we got a nice solid bed floor now. It looks a lot better than rust, and of course we're not done with it. We're not going to paint directly over that or primer over it. We're going to use some body filler. We won't be doing that right away. After we finish touching this up, we'll be ready to flip the bed over, and we'll have to sand the insides of these. Hand sand them, because I did not sandblast the body panels. You don't want to do that. That would warp those. And we'll be ready to do some painting where we won't be able to get to after the inner wheel tubs are welded in. And then we'll be ready to paint the old underside of the bed. And once that's done, we'll flip it back over and we'll finally start body work. Just showing our progress. Stay tuned for more. Alright YouTube, it's Sunday morning now. Didn't get the bed flipped over last night, and I'll tell you why. I decided to go ahead and do some mowing before I unhook the sickle mower. I mow that field every other week, once every other week. This doesn't really belong to me, but the guy just lets it all build up. So I decided to go ahead and get that done before I unhook the mower. That way I won't have to hook it right back up immediately, and hopefully I can get my stuff done within the next 2 weeks and flip the bed back over. And about the mowing, if you can see that deer there, kind of a sad story behind that. Something terrible happened when I was mowing down there last night. I'm pretty sure this is the mother, but there was a baby deer hiding in that grass there, and well, to make a gory story short, the sickle bar went over the baby and killed it immediately. I'm not going to get into the gory details, but the damage that was done to it killed it immediately. I feel terrible about it. You know, I'm not some animal activist or anything. I do like animals, but I do eat meat and have hunted. But for a little baby, several weeks old, to die like that, that bothers me. And there's the mother. That's really kind of sad. I think that's the mother. I almost see. It's hard to see in the screen. I almost see. I thought I saw. No, it's just the big ears. I thought I saw a rack on her. It's hard to see through the screen, but there she is. She's been out there all morning looking for her baby, and all I can say is I feel terrible about it. but what can you do? It was an accident. For anybody that farms and cuts a lot of hay, you know it happens all the time. But hate to throw this sad little detail into my video. We're supposed to be working on the Powerstroke, and we will be, but that's part of life, and I do try to throw a little bit of that in my videos too. Things in life happen while we're working on the projects. So anyway, I touched up a couple of holes, and guess what? I found some more. And so before I flip it, unhook the mower and get the boom on the tractor and pick this up and flip it. I'm gonna get that hole there, and I think I might mix up a tiny bit amount on a small spray gun of some Pour 15 paint and just spray over top of that bare metal, because there are some cracks and stuff there, and I just want to get some paint in there so no rust or impurities will get in there. And in the Pour 15 paint, you can spread body filler on top of it, scuff it up. You can. I've done it over top of primer. Some people don't recommend it. I've done it with no problems. And that would be better than putting the Bondo over the bare metal, because I believe that bare metal can rust right directly underneath Bondo, but this Pour 15 paint is not supposed to. So that's why I'm going to do it. Okay, let me get some stuff out of the way and get to work. Point something out here. I don't know if I mentioned this in my past videos about this, but if you remember seeing me pick up this bed before, I was using some very cheap, not very strong tie-down straps and hooking them here. I quit doing that because it's dangerous. I noticed the stitching was coming apart on one of them, and it was starting to pull out the hose right up under here. So it's a safe way to pick up your truck bed. Found 4 eye bolts at Lowe's. They're long enough to go through. 1/2 inch, 13 thread on them. Plenty strong enough for what we're going to do. And I'm going to use my heavy duty 2-inch wide tie down straps that are meant for tying cars down to trailers and stuff like that. Just want to point that out. I always like to throw little safety tips in there, even though you will see me do stuff that may not be so safe. Every now and then, yeah, we get in a hurry, we do that. But alright, let's pick up this bed, get it out there, and flip her around. Hang on. That's a lot of bed for a little guy to pick up. There it is, all flipped upside down and ready for more work. Shut this noisy thing off. And it'll have to sit there half the day because it doesn't like to start hot. Must have got a lot of battery, which it doesn't, 6 volt. But anyway, now we need to grind that down. I noticed I had to get under the bed after I flipped it upside down to get my front eye bolts out. I noticed a lot of daylight peeking through my welds there. A lot of it gets ground out when you grind it down flush. So I'll probably end up grinding this side down and re-welding it from the back side. And then, yeah, hopefully, then I'll probably have to flip it one more time to grind all that down, because even though I want to paint this side, I don't want to get it all painted up, then get on the other side and have to grind welds down and get it hot and bake the paint on. So probably have to flip it twice more. And after that, once we get it painted and all that good stuff, yeah, we can finally flip it over right side up for the last time. And the next time we'll have to pick it up will be after the body work's done and we got some painting done, and we can set this thing on the truck. Okay, I guess we didn't show much progress other than unhooking implements from the tractor and flipping the bed over, but we did get our top surface welded up and ground down, and that was a good 4 hours of work. A lot of welding and grinding there. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully we can stay on this project a little bit more than we have been. Like I said, we've been off of it for a month, but that's the way it goes. Things get in the way. But hopefully, yeah, we can get back on get some momentum going, is what I meant to say. Get some momentum going on this here project, and yeah, hopefully we'll have our F-250 painted up, back together, looking good, and maybe we can pull this trailer down to the track a few times this year. I hope, maybe. Can't promise nothing. Thanks for watching.